Discover the heartwarming stories of owners fighting back after this czar was banned in 12 states. In the quaint town of Cedar Grove, the sun dipped low, casting golden light over familiar storefronts where laughter danced through the air. For Emma Carter, a single mother and veteran, every evening was a reminder of the warmth of home and the love of her two children, Jake and Lily. They spent countless afternoons together in their reliable family cruiser, a trusty vehicle that had become a symbol of their journey, one filled with memories. From soccer games to Sweet Sixteens, every mile had bonded them closer. But when news broke that the cruiser was banned in 12 states due to unfair regulations, Emma felt her heart sink. The ban struck a chord in Cedar Grove, a community intertwined with tradition. The diner where Emma worked became a hub of chatter and frustration. "What are we supposed to do without our cruisers?" folks would exclaim, furrowing their brows. Friends and neighbors voiced their concerns during coffee breaks, each sharing touching stories about their own relationships with the car. One by one, they reaffirmed their connection to it, each tale illuminating how the cruiser had supported them through thick and thin. As they reminisced about summer barbecues and late-night drives, Emma's resolve solidified. Amidst the rising tide of emotions, Emma spearheaded an effort to unite the community. They held meetings in the local community center, walls adorned with pictures of families standing proudly next to their cruisers, the smiles unfiltered. Emma did her best to encourage everyone to share their stories. The stories began pouring out. Families crammed into the back for road trips, kids learning to ride bikes on quiet streets, and even the time they all rallied to save a lost puppy. With every anecdote, Emma felt the stirrings of a battle well worth fighting. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the discussions advanced, skepticism brewed among some townsfolk. The local government suggested a replacement, an advanced model called the flash drive, boasting energy efficiency and cutting-edge technology. Emma sensed the doubts around her. Some questioned if she was clinging too tightly to the past. Accusations arose, and she suddenly found herself positioned as a barrier to progress. But Emma knew that this was bigger than just a vehicle. It was about their shared identity, their history, and the dreams they all cherished. In her heart, Emma revisited the moment she had purchased the cruiser. The smell of fresh leather, the laughter of her children echoing in the back, dreams unfolding in front of them. With tears brimming in her eyes, she understood. This was home. This was family. As the town hall meeting drew near, tensions built. In the moment of truth, she knew this was not just about the cruiser, but the very soul of Cedar Grove. With hope and vulnerability, Emma took the stand. The room held its breath as her voice trembled but remained steady, building in conviction. Would they choose nostalgia or embrace the unknown? As emotions swirled, the question lingered in the air. Was the bond they shared strong enough to rise above the impending change? Emma stood at the podium, trembling with a mix of fear and determination. The faces of familiar friends and neighbors stared back, eyes wide with expectation. It was now or never. She took a deep breath, letting the warmth of the memories flood her mind, the road trips, laughter, the comfort of her children's presence in the back seat. "I know that change can be scary," she began, her voice steadying. "And I understand that the new technology promises so much. But this isn't just about a car. This is about us. About who we are as a community." Eyes glistened in the soft light. Some nodded slightly. Others remained doubtful. Many of you have shared your stories with me. Stories of joy, of hardship, of triumph. The things we've faced together inside those cruisers, those aren't just memories. They are a part of our collective spirit. Emma glanced at Jake and Lily, who sat in the front row, their little faces shining with pride. She continued, "When I first drove home with my children in the cruiser, it was more than a vehicle. It was freedom. We explored the corners of Cedar Grove and beyond. I can't let that go without a fight." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd. Emma felt hope flicker within her, a small flame igniting her resolve. She was fighting for more than a car. She was fighting for families, for history, for their shared journey. Let us not be so quick to give up on what we hold dear because of fear, Emma pressed on. What if we could negotiate with the local government? What if we could prove that this isn't just about keeping a car on the roads, but about maintaining the heart of Cedar Grove? The room buzzed with discussion as townsfolk turned to each other, voices rising in excitement. Why no? She's got a point, a man in the back said. This isn't just about technology, it's about the people. That classic cruiser can take us anywhere, but we still gotta fight for it. Someone else added. Emma's heart swelled at the changes brewing in the room. What she thought would be a wave of defeat transformed into a rising tide of support. It was as if she had struck a chord, resonating with every family. Every person who knew the cruiser's comfort as the discussion blossomed. A familiar face emerged from the shadows. It was Mr. Hughes, the town's quiet mechanic who had kept the cruiser patched up over the years. He raised his hand, drawing the crowd's attention instantly. We need to show the city what our cruisers mean to us, and what they've done for our lives. Let us organize. We need a rally. The crowd erupted into applause, excitement coursing through the air. Emma found herself grinning widely, energized by their newfound fervor and determination. Would they really rally together, stand as one? Let us show them our stories, our community, Emma echoed, emboldened. Let us remind them that progress should not come at the cost of our identity. The room laughed and cheered, the spirit of Cedar Grove rising with every clap. But in the back of her mind, a nagging worry lingered. What if the local government didn't listen? What if they were too set on their new technological path to care about their voices? Tomorrow, we'll begin organizing. We'll create a day full of sharing, memories, and love, Emma declared, gratitude flooding her chest. As the meeting wound down, Emma felt lighter, a sense of purpose filling her heart. But as she left the building, shadowed by uncertainty, she couldn't shake the feeling that there were factors at play she hadn't anticipated. Would their efforts be enough in the face of bureaucracy? And would their cherished memories be powerful enough to make the change they desperately sought? The road ahead was unknown, but one thing was certain. Cedar Grove was ready to fight. Would they rise up to the challenge, or would they find themselves outmatched? Emma held her breath, at the edge of a journey that could redefine everything. The sun peeked over the roofs of Cedar Grove, casting a soft glow on the town square as Emma gathered outside the community center. A palpable energy filled the air, a mix of excitement and apprehension. Today was the day they would rally not just for their beloved classic cruiser, but for something much bigger. Emma, Jake called out, running up to her with Lily trailing behind. Can we help? Can we make signs? Their enthusiasm was infectious, a bright flame in her heart. Absolutely. Let us show everyone how much this means to us. She knelt and hugged them. Their laughter blended with the rustling leaves, as vibrant as the stars that had watched over them the night before. Together, they pushed through the tasks of the day: paint, cardboard, laughter, and love. Emma couldn't shake the nervous knot in her belly, though. What if no one came? What if the city council ignored them? Those thoughts crept in like shadows, but she brushed them aside. By the time the sun was high in the sky, nearly every corner of Cedar Grove buzzed with activity. Tables filled with crafts, treats, and steaming cups of coffee lined the square. Children raced through the throng, giggling, while parents exchanged ideas on how to make their voices heard. Every sign tells a story, Mr. Hughes exclaimed, adjusting his glasses as he inspected a banner painted by the local kids. We need to make sure we capture the heart of what the cruiser means to us. Emma stepped back, observing the crowd. A wave of pride washed over her. She was witnessing a community come alive, people she had shared barbecues with, neighbors who had helped her raise her children, now united for a common cause. Their stories echoed in her heart like a beautiful chorus. As the rally began, Emma took the stage. Thank you all for being here, she called, her voice cutting through the crowd. This isn't just about a car, it's about everything we share together. These aren't just memories, they're the bonds that hold us. A cheer went up. It was solid, a surge of determination that sent a thrill of hope spiraling through her. She spotted Mr. Hughes and waved him up beside her. Let us hear it from the community, Emma suggested, and the crowd erupted with applause as he stepped forward. Now, who has a story to tell about their cruiser? Hands shot up like fireworks. One by one, they shared powerful tales of family road trips, the good times shared with friends, and even the tough moments that were made bearable with the cruiser by their side. Each voice added another layer to the tapestry of their shared history, reminding everyone of what they stood to lose. But just as the atmosphere soared to new heights, a sour note broke through. A group from the city council appeared at the edge of the crowd. Emma's heart sank. The moments of joy threatened to intersect with a deep-rooted anxiety. What are they doing here? They can't be here to support us, she muttered under her breath, gripping the podium tighter as she watched them whisper to one another. Lily tugged on Emma's sleeve. Mom, are they going to stop us? Worry clouded her innocence. Emma knelt, looking into her daughter's eyes. No matter what happens, we keep fighting. We stand together, okay? The crowd noticed the representatives and quieted, uncertainty hanging thick in the air. Those moments of shared stories now faced a crossroads, and Emma realized that the moment of truth was within reach. Would they gather strength from their memories, or would they retreat into doubt? With resolve falling over her like a warm blanket, she took a deep breath. Let us show them the heart of Cedar Grove. Let us make sure they understand that we will be heard. The tension crackled. A ripple of agreement sparked energy through the crowd. But even as cheer erupted, Emma's gut twisted with dread. What if the council had come to quash their dreams? The atmosphere shifted, and she knew they were about to step into a confrontation. Would they stand their ground, or would they let fear claim the day? Emma felt the answer resting just at her fingertips, ready to unfold. With the stakes climbing, she prepared herself for the battle ahead. Was Cedar Grove truly ready to fight, or would their spirit wane in the face of power? The murmurs from the crowd were almost deafening as Emma stood at the forefront of a shifting tide. Every eye was on her, and she felt the weight of their hopes pressing down. This was no ordinary town meeting. It was a defining moment for Cedar Grove. She squared her shoulders, gathering her courage like an armor against the uncertainty swirling around her. We're not just here to save a car. We're here to save our community's spirit, Emma shouted, her voice ringing clear and strong. The crowd responded with a collective cheer, an anthem rising up against the impending storm. Then, the representatives from the city council stepped forward, their faces a mix of curiosity and skepticism. Excuse me, the spokesperson said, adjusting his glasses in a way that made him seem both official and aloof. We're here to hear your concerns, but we also need to consider safety and regulations. Emma felt her heart race. Safety? Was that the angle they were going to lean on? She glanced toward Lily and Jake, who were peering at the council members, uncertainty etched on their young faces. Safety is important, Emma replied, keeping her voice steady. But we shouldn't confuse regulation with our memories. This isn't just a vehicle. It's a piece of our history, a symbol of everything we've built and shared. Another wave of cheers met her words, washing over her like warm sunlight breaking through clouds. But the council members exchanged glances. Emma could see their walls thickening, but she pressed on, sensing that the time for softness had passed. Let us talk about it. How many of you learned to drive in a cruiser? Who took road trips with family, siblings fighting in the back seat? Hands shot up in the crowd again, and Emma felt the energy sharpen. One man in the front row stood up, his voice rich with emotion. I took my first date in that car. I remember driving down Oak Street with the windows down, music blasting. It's not about the car, it's about those memories. Laughter mixed with a few yes, and even some applause. There was a tapestry of voices weaving through the air, all breathing life into their stories, igniting a shared passion that felt electric, but the city council remained unmoved. Appreciating your connections is one thing, the spokesperson interjected, but there's a rule of law at stake here. We must prioritize regulations to ensure safety for everyone. Emma clenched her fists, a wave of frustration washing over her. We're not asking for reckless abandon. We're asking for a chance to reclaim what's ours, to have our voices heard. We can't let regulations erase our narratives. The crowd roared back, and for a moment, it felt like history was hinging upon a thread suspended in the air, full of potential. But then, just as the energy began to swell, an unexpected figure pushed through the crowd. It was Ms. Whitfield, an elderly woman who had lived in Cedar Grove her entire life. Listen, I've seen changes in this town. Changes that have lost our sense of community. We cannot let bureaucracy strip away the heart of who we are. Her voice trembled, but it resonated deeply. Silence fell, turning faces toward Ms. Whitfield, whose presence grounded them all. Emma's heart fluttered with realization. This was about more than just a car. It was about legacy, love, and the fragility of community in a changing world. The spokesperson from the council hesitated, visibly affected by the depth of emotion surrounding him, but shook his head reluctantly. While your stories are compelling, it's about legality. Emma could feel the tension tightening around them. What would it take to tip the balance? Just as she opened her mouth to respond, a loud shout broke through the crowd. Let them be heard. Emma turned to see Jake, standing on a crate, his small frame suddenly towering over everyone. He clutched a hand-painted sign reading, "Our memories matter." A hush fell as his courage ignited a spark. Emma felt tears prick her eyes. What was happening here? Was it just her children lifting them, or was Cedar Grove finding its voice? Heart-pounding, she realized this was the moment. They might yet sway the council, or perhaps bring about the change they desperately needed. But as she looked at Jake, his innocent courage radiating, a thought struck her: could they really turn the tide? Together she began, feeling the collective breath of the community behind her. Together, we can fight for what matters most. With the energy of Cedar Grove behind her, Emma prepared to lead the charge. But just as she rallied the crowd with renewed determination, a city council member stepped forward holding a weathered folder. Their decision loomed, potentially threatening everything they fought for. What would that decision mean for their rallying cries? Would hope dissolve into despair, or would this moment become a catalyst for change? Emma's heart raced. The answer felt like a breath away, but would they be prepared for whatever lay on the other side? The silence was palpable as the council member raised the weathered folder, its pages frail with age. Emma's heart thundered. She could see anticipation mixed with dread fluttering through the crowd like leaves caught in a fickle wind. 100 faces turned to her, searching for strength, looking for answers. She felt the pressure of their gazes, willing her to be their voice. Let us hear it, she urged, her heart leaping into her throat. The room felt smaller, the walls closing in. She instinctively grasped Jake's little hand, intertwining their fingers. He looked at her with wide, trusting eyes, as if to say, "We've got this." The council member cleared his throat and opened the folder. "We appreciate your passion, but we've made preliminary decisions based on safety regulations. The cruiser in question will not be allowed on public roads. It poses risks. We can't overlook that." A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. Emma felt the air deflate, as if someone had released the last fragments of hope. She squeezed Jake's hand tighter, feeling a surge of protectiveness mixed with despair. "What are we supposed to do then?" yelled a woman from the back, her voice cracking. "Let memories fade away like dust?" "Exactly," chimed in another voice, firm and determined. Emma turned to see Ms. Whitfield again, walking into the crowd, her fragile stature a stark contrast to the strength of her resolve. "The cruiser isn't just metal and wheels. It's our history, our connections. It's the laughter and love we've shared on those roads." The crowd began to murmur again, reflections of their own personal histories, weaving a tapestry too vivid to ignore. Emma felt a flicker of hope ignite in her heart. "Yes," she added, her voice gaining volume. "It is our identity, and we can't just let it be erased." But the spokesperson remained unmoved, his expression unreadable. "As I said, the decision has been made. Our mandate is clear. Safety comes first." The murmurs grew into a chorus of dissent, voices rising in anguish and anger. Emma's chest tightened. This was more than a car. It was about their community holding itself together against the harsh winds of change. "Emma, what do we do now?" Jake whispered, looking nervous. She knelt down beside him, brushing a strand of hair off his forehead. "We don't give up. We find another way. This isn't over." "Not yet." The resolve ignited in him. He nodded, determination returning to his eyes. Emma stood again. She took a deep breath. "Ladies and gentlemen, what if we took our fight to the streets? What if we showed them what this cruiser means to us? What if we created an event, a day to celebrate our memories?" The crowd went silent for a moment, then started at her hopeful words. "We can gather everyone who has a story to share, invite the press, and show them all how powerful our connection is. We're not just a community, we're a family. The energy shifted in the air, morphing like electricity as that shared idea sparked something deep within each of them. Emma felt confidence bloom in her chest, like spring flowers breaking through the snow. We'll call it Cedar Grove's Day of Memories, and we'll show them what we're fighting for, she declared, her voice echoing in the vast space. We'll spread the word and invite those who shared their experiences with the cruiser. Everyone's stories will be heard. The crowd erupted into cheers. A surge of excitement fluttered through them. Emma could see hearts awakening, eyes shining. It was as if a gust of wind had fanned the embers of their hope into a roaring flame. Yet even as the cheers rang out, the weight of uncertainty pressed on Emma. Would a day of memories sway the council? Would it be enough to change their minds? And what if they said no again? As she turned to the council members, the determination in her heart was mixed with fear. She couldn't help but wonder, was this plan enough to pull Cedar Grove back from the brink? Just as the crowd began to rally for the event, another figure emerged from the shadows, a mysterious stranger with a familiar gleam in his eye. Something that whispered of hidden truths waiting to be revealed. What connection did he have to the cruiser? And would he bring them closer to victory or deeper into a rabbit hole of surprises? Emma's breath caught as the stranger stepped forward. The stranger stepped into the light, and Emma saw him more clearly. He was taller than most, with a rugged coat that seemed too big for him. His hair was wild, and there were faint scars on his hands that spoke of a man who worked hard, perhaps on machines like the cruiser they were fighting for. He looked like someone who had traveled many roads and carried stories within him, stories that might just hold the key to saving their memories. "Hello, Cedar Grove," he began, his voice low yet unwavering, drawing everyone's attention. "I believe I can help." The crowd turned a little restless. Who was this man? Was he a friend or a foe? Emma felt a twinge of uncertainty, but couldn't deny a small sense of curiosity sparking within her. "What do you mean?" she asked, stepping forward, propelled by instinct. He nodded, a faint smile breaking through his serious demeanor. "I've seen what the cruiser means to your community. I've been part of similar journeys before, and I understand that it's not just about the car. It's about the stories that bind you together. Just like mine." "What stories?" someone called out from the back, skepticism evident in their tone. The stranger took a moment and scanned the faces around him. "Stories of how the cruiser brought families together, how it witnessed the milestones of your lives. I'm here because I've seen this happen before. I know that underestimating the value of memories tied to a vehicle can lead to darker paths than just losing a car. I've lost too much, and I don't want to see Cedar Grove lose its spirit." Emma's heart raced. Could he really help them? But she also felt the skepticism of the crowd pressing in, uncertainty wrapped in silence. "I am Jack," he continued, holding their gaze, "and I can provide you with connections that might sway the council. There are families fighting back across 12 states for their cherished vehicles. You're not alone in this, but you will need to be willing to take risks and perhaps even reconsider how you approach your fight." Emma swallowed hard, processing this information. "What do you suggest?" she asked, feeling the weight of his words, but also a flicker of hope. Jack pulled a small, weathered notebook from his coat pocket and flipped it open, revealing pages filled with names and places. "I've documented rallies, gatherings, and even court cases that have successfully challenged these kinds of decisions. If you're willing to connect with these people, we can create a powerful network, a movement that might force the council to reckon with what they're trying to erase. Would you help us organize this?" Emma asked, her voice steady now, firm with determination. "I will," he said simply, "but only if you're ready to truly embrace your memories, to fight for every person who has ever cherished a ride in that cruiser. This isn't just a rally. This will be a campaign, a declaration of stories that must be told." After a moment's hesitation, Emma felt the energy of the crowd shift again. They weren't just there to lose. They were there to forge a connection, to rise together. "Let us do this," Emma shouted, and her enthusiasm rippled through the group. "Let us gather our stories and show them who we are," echoed Ms. Whitfield, her voice gaining a timbre of conviction. The cheers erupted once again, louder this time. But amid the exhilaration, another part of Emma felt a twinge of fear. Would they really be able to connect with those far away? Would the stories resonate enough to spark the change they needed? Jack stepped forward again, locking eyes with Emma. "I'll meet you here tomorrow to start planning." Bring your best stories, and let us get this moving. As he walked away, Emma felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. They had a chance, but it would take courage. Would they all be brave enough to dig deep and share their truths? Tomorrow loomed large with possibilities, but also with countless uncertainties. She turned to Jake, who looked up at her, wide-eyed with wonder. "Do you think we can really do this?" she whispered, heart racing. He nodded earnestly. "I believe in us, Mom." With every heartbeat, hope intertwined with doubt, and as the crowd dispersed to start their preparations, one thought kept nagging at Emma. Would their collective stories be enough to change the hearts of those in power, or would the council silence them once more? As night enveloped Cedar Grove, the stranger's presence left behind a lingering question. Was Emma ready to unearth the deeper stories hidden away in her heart? The morning sun broke over Cedar Grove, casting a warm glow on the streets. Emma stirred awake, her mind still buzzing from the previous evening. The anticipation was thick in the air, mingling with the scent of fresh coffee brewing in the kitchen. She quickly dressed, her thoughts racing. They had a mission to prepare for, and failure wasn't an option. As she walked through the quiet house, she felt the weight of those unspoken stories pressing on her heart. Memories tied to the cruiser flooded her mind: road trips with Jake, the laughter that filled their spacious back seat, and the comfort it provided during sleepless nights. But there were others too, stories she'd yet to hear, threads of their community woven tightly together. These were the stories that needed to shine. "Morning, Mom," Jake called from the dining table, a plate piled high with toast and jam waiting for her. "Good morning, buddy," she smiled, ruffling his hair as she slid into her seat. He looked up at her, his eyes wide, filled with enthusiasm and hope. "Are you excited?" he asked, shoveling a mouthful of toast. Emma hesitated briefly, the nerves creeping in again. "Yeah, I guess I am." "You guess?" Jake teased, his eyes sparkling. "Come on, it's going to be amazing." She chuckled, grateful for his unwavering belief. "You're right. It will be amazing." After breakfast, they headed to the park, where a small group had gathered early. Jack was already there, surveying the area, his coat flapping in the gentle breeze. He noticed Emma and Jake approaching and waved them over. "Good to see you both." He clapped his hands together, drawing the crowd's attention. "Are we ready to share some stories?" Nervous energy coursed through the group. Emma felt it too, mingled with excitement and a touch of apprehension. She could see the familiar faces, all eager to contribute, yet uncertain how to begin. Jack stepped forward with an encouraging smile. "Here's how we'll do it. We'll form a circle. Each person can share their most cherished memory connected to the cruiser. Let us get the stories flowing and remind ourselves why this fight matters." The crowd nodded, slowly forming a loose circle. Emma's heart raced as she looked around, catching glimpses of vulnerability mixed with hope. Stories began to trickle out. A girl recalled the first time her dad let her drive. An elderly man spoke of his late wife, whose laughter filled the car during road trips. As Emma listened, she felt strands of their community intertwining, bonding them even stronger. There was something magical in their shared experiences, a tapestry woven with joy, laughter, and tears. When it was her turn, she took a deep breath. This cruiser has been there during every important moment in our lives. From birthdays to everyday trips to the grocery store, it has heard our joys and seen our struggles. As she spoke, she could hear her own voice wavering, yet strength pushed her forward. "It's not just a car, it's part of who we are. We can't let them take that away." A wave of emotion swept over the group, and she could see it reflected through their nods and murmurs of agreement. The stories continued, and with each one, Emma felt lighter. They were uncovering the fabric of their community, laying it bare for all of them to see. Hours passed, and eventually, Jack said, "You've all shared some incredible memories today. Now, let us channel this into action. We're going to gather these stories, create a presentation for the council, and show them the heart of Cedar Grove. What if they don't listen?" A voice questioned from the back, uncertainty creeping back into the air. Emma turned, her heart pounding. "Then we make them listen. We speak louder if we have to." A sense of unity surged through the group once more. They were not only fighting for the crane cruiser, but for each other. Emma could feel the weave tightening. A community standing shoulder to shoulder as the sun set. The circle of stories felt like a new beginning for all of them. Emma glanced over at Jack, who was writing down every story, every detail. His focus was unwavering, eyes glinting with determination. But as they wrapped up, another question loomed in Emma's mind. Would their voices be enough to challenge the council? What other obstacles might they face as they moved forward? Uncertainty lingered, the stakes higher than ever. They were about to embark on a fight that could unite them or tear them apart. Would they step into that unknown together? The following day, a cloud of determination hung over Cedar Grove, thicker than the morning fog that rolled through town. Emma woke up and felt the pulse of her resolve steadying her heart. Today was no ordinary day. It was the day they prepared their presentation for the council. She could sense the growing excitement as she and Jake gathered supplies around the house. "Do you think we can fit all the stories into the presentation?" Jake asked, his brows furrowing in concentration as he loaded papers into a folder. Emma smiled, noting the seriousness in his young voice. "We'll make it fit. Every word matters." As they made their way to the park again, the crisp autumn air embraced them, invigorating their spirits. The community was already bustling, gathered in small clusters, sharing ideas and making last-minute adjustments to their stories. Emma could hear snippets of laughter and shouts of encouragement, the kind that made her grateful for this small town where everyone knew everyone, and everyone cared. Jack stood atop a picnic table, rallying the crowd. "This is our moment. Each memory we bring to the council speaks volumes. It's more than nostalgia, it's our identity. We have to present ourselves passionately. Let them understand who we are." His spirit ignited their energy, and Emma felt hope flicker brighter within her. They spent the morning weaving together photos, anecdotes, and vibrant illustrations. Jake pored over his artwork, drawing their beloved cruiser amongst joyful scenes. His creativity burst forth like rays of sunshine breaking through clouds. Each stroke captured laughter shared inside that familiar car and the warmth of family trips. But as the clock ticked down, a sliver of doubt crept back in. Emma found herself stealing glances at the crowd, noticing some hesitant faces, echoes of concern etched in their expressions. Somewhere deep down, the question nagged her, what if the council ignored their heartfelt stories? As they gathered in a tight circle again, the sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows that seemed to reflect their worries. With her heart racing, Emma stepped into the center once more. "We're not just fighting for a car. We're fighting for each other, for a community that will stand up when times are tough." A chorus of murmurs and applause broke out, yet a few voices still carried apprehension. "But what if they laugh at us?" someone from the back asked, the doubt hanging in the air. Emma took a deep breath, looking each person in the eye. "Then we laugh with them. It's our truth. No one can take that away from us. We have so much spirit and love in this room that's what they need to see." This sentiment seemed to charge the atmosphere with new energy, sparking a flare of excitement that spread like wildfire. The group stood, hearts pounding in sync, united not by fear but by the glowing flame of their shared stories and unwavering hope. Jack clapped his hands and motioned everyone closer. Together, they formed a makeshift assembly line, carefully assembling the presentation board. Cheerful voices filled the air as stories of the past were transformed into chants for their future, but as they focused on the task at hand, Emma couldn't shake a sensation that something was about to change. A sharp voice cut through the air, someone she hadn't expected to see. Mayor Thompson marched toward them, a stern expression gripping his face. The laughter turned to hushed whispers, eyes widening with uncertainty. Emma's heart raced once more. Was this the moment they'd all been dreading? Would the council support them, or was everything about to unravel? As the crowd turned to face the mayor, Emma knew that whatever happened next would define their fight for the cruiser and their home. Her intuition whispered that everything was about to shift dramatically. They were on the brink of something big. Would their voices rise strong enough to break through? Mayor Thompson's strides were brisk as he approached the gathering, his silhouette tall against the fading sun. The cheerful atmosphere thickened with tension. Emma could feel her stomach twist in knots, and she clenched her fists tightly at her sides. Her mind raced with possibilities. Had someone complained? Was there a decision already made? The mayor cleared his throat, the sound echoing across the park. "I know you all have gathered here with great purpose," he began, surveying the crowd with a piercing gaze. The silence felt heavy, like a weight pressing down on each person. "Your passion is evident. and it's inspiring to see such a united front. Emma felt a flicker of hope, but held her breath, unsure of what would follow. However, he continued, his voice dropping slightly, I need to remind you that we have certain regulations to abide by. The air crackled with a mix of anticipation and trepidation. Emma could see Jake's tiny fingers nervously gripping the edges of their presentation board, his innocent face a portrait of concern. A murmur surged through the crowd, some stepping back as if bracing for an unseen blow. We are a community that values tradition and safety, Mayor Thompson continued. And while I appreciate your enthusiasm, we have to consider the objections raised against the cruiser objections. Jack interrupted, disbelief written on his face. This is our history. This car isn't just metal and wheels, it's part of us. The mayor held up a hand, signaling for calm. I understand, but the council has received complaints about the model. They say it poses safety concerns. A collective gasp echoed throughout the group. Emma felt her heart drop, her vision narrowing. The lifeblood of their project stood in jeopardy before her eyes. She couldn't let it crumble now. What if we show them who we are? Emma blurted out, her voice sharper than she intended. What if we tell them why this car matters to us? The memories, the joy, it's all part of our community. The mayor listened, brow creasing as he pinched his lips. Emma could see him weighing her words. The crowd leaned in closely, sensing the potential shift in momentum. Perhaps he began slowly. Perhaps the council needs to hear your stories directly. But I cannot make any promises. We have procedures. No procedures will stop our passion. Jake piped up, his youthful resolve shining through the gloom. Emma's heart swelled with pride. She marveled at the strength radiating from the young boy beside her. It truly was their shared spirit that could turn the tide. A flicker of something changed in Mayor Thompson's expression. All right, he finally said. Prepare your presentation, but be ready for questions. The council will listen, but how you present your stories is crucial. Show them your heart, your unity. The weight of what he said hung in the air, a fragile promise mingled with uncertainty. There was hope, but also a challenge. Emma took a deep breath, sensing the adrenaline rush through her veins. It was time to rise and fight. As the mayor turned to leave, whispers of possibility spread through the crowd, a spark igniting in their chests. They began to rejuvenate their focus, gathering around each other, eyes bright with renewed determination. Emma, still wrapped in the warmth of hope, gazed at the familiar faces surrounding her. This was it, the chance to share their heart, to unite in the name of cherished memories. But as her mind buzzed with inspiration, a nagging thought still lingered. Would they truly be able to stand their ground and overcome the council's doubts? A sudden breeze fluttered by, stirring her thoughts. Are we ready for this? She whispered, her voice carrying a weight that seemed to settle on her shoulders, pushing her closer to a precipice of realization. And deep within, she feared that it wouldn't just be their stories on trial. It might be their very identities. As dawn broke over Cedar Grove, Emma felt a surge of energy course through her veins. Today was the day they would stand up, not just for the cruiser, but for their community's heart. The sun peeked through the leaves, bathing the streets in golden light, as families made their way to the town hall. Laughter and voices mingled in the air, buoyed by hope. Emma quickly prepared breakfast, her mind racing with the countless stories she had heard in the past few days. She needed to channel that energy into their presentation. As Jake and Lily finished their meals, Emma could see excitement dancing in their eyes, her brave little warriors, ready to face the council along with the rest of Cedar Grove at the community center. The atmosphere was electric. This is it, Jack exclaimed, rallying everyone. Emma stood amidst her friends and neighbors, feeling their collective heartbeat. Each person brought with them a powerful story, a testament to the joy and resilience they shared. Are we ready to show them who we are? Jack called, and the crowd erupted into cheers. Emma's heart pulsed with pride. Let us remind them that we aren't just fighting for a car. We're fighting for our memories, our family bonds. As they entered the council chamber, Emma felt a wave of nervous energy wash over her. The council members sat behind a large table, scanning the crowd, some expressionless, others intrigued. She swallowed hard, glancing at Jake, who held her gaze with unwavering trust. With every seat taken and murmurs of anticipation echoing in the chamber, Emma stepped up to the podium. The feeling of vulnerability wrapped around her, but she quickly banished it. "Thank you for allowing us to present today," she began, her voice steady. "We are here to share not just a car, but the very essence of Cedar Grove." One by one, stories unfolded. Each tale poured into the room like sunlight breaking through clouds, laughter mixed with tears, nostalgia combined with raw emotion. Emma watched as community members stepped up, some sharing moments of their childhood, others recounting milestones that became part of their family's legacy. The energy shifted, making the air thick with unspoken solidarity. The council listened intently. Some exchanged glances, others took notes. As stories culminated into a chorus of voices, Emma fought back tears. In that moment, she recognized the strength of their bond. The cruiser was not just a vehicle. It was a vessel of love, unity, and cherished memories that could never be erased. Then, it was Jake's turn. He approached the microphone, small but fierce. "When I was scared, Mom drove me in the cruiser to see Grandma. It made me feel brave. Cars are just cars, but this is love in it." His words rang out like a bell, resonating deep within each heart present. Emma's chest swelled with pride as he stepped back, standing tall beside his sister, who clutched a piece of painted cardboard that read, "Our memories matter." Moments later, Ms. Whitfield took her turn. "We've shared laughter and tears in those cruisers," she said softly. "And those experiences are what shape us. Thank you for letting us share ours." The room hung on her words, each note striking a familiar chord. After everyone had shared, Emma could see the council pondering. Then Mayor Thompson spoke up, his expression a mix of consideration and admiration. "You have brought us something extraordinarily powerful today. Countless communities across the state are grappling with similar issues. After hearing heartfelt stories like yours, we want to work together." Loud cheers erupted, reverberating in the chamber. Emma felt tears bubble in her eyes. This was exactly what she had hoped for, a chance to unite their stories with compassion and empathy. Mayor Thompson continued, "While regulations must exist, we will explore ways to honor the past while forging a safe future. Our first step will be to hold a town forum where we can discuss both safety and community values." The applause crescendoed, a beautiful harmony of human connection echoing off the walls. As the meeting concluded, Emma turned to her community, beaming at the faces surrounding her, faces of hope, strength, and love. They had fought this battle together, and it showed them the power of unity. Stepping out into the sunlight, Emma exhaled a release of all the uncertainty, the fear, and the burden of the fight. "We did it," she exclaimed, gathering Jake and Lily into a fierce hug. The warmth of their little bodies against her was a comfort she would forever treasure. "Can we keep our cruiser?" Jake asked, hope glimmering in his eyes. "Yes, buddy," Emma replied, radiant with joy. "Not only that, but we'll celebrate what it means to all of us." They joined the crowd as they filled the streets, laughter ringing through Cedar Grove. This was home, a place where memories were more than memories. They were the very fabric of their lives. As the sun dipped low, Emma felt deep gratitude. Change was on the horizon, but now they would shape it together. Cedar Grove seemed brighter than ever, vibrant with stories waiting to be shared. This was their moment. The battle had forged them into something more, a community, united, ready to face whatever lay ahead. Emma knew this was just the beginning of many adventures tied to their beloved cruiser, and she wouldn't have it any other way. Now it's your turn to stand together and make an impact. You need to subscribe now to our channel for more heartwarming results that inspire change. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support for these incredible stories. Comment your thoughts and feelings about this powerful ending. We want to hear from you. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation unfold. Let us spread the unity and love far and wide.